The next matter we're going to take up at this time is going to be out of order, but we're next going to take up the appointment of Susan Pepin Fay, Vicing Associate Justice Hugo L. Ritchie as Associate Justice of the Rhode Island Workers' Compensation Court. We have a couple of witnesses signed up to testify. We'll start with Chief Judge Ferreira.
Solemnly swear the testimony about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I do.
Chief, good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon. If it's okay with the Senate Judiciary Committee, I'll speak about both candidates and eliminate me coming back up.
As you know, I love brevity.
And this will be brief.
Thank you.
Okay. Chairwoman Lynch, Vice Chairman Archambault, Senate President Ruggiero, Senate Majority Leader McCaffrey, and members of the Senate Judiciary. My name is Robert Ferreira. I'm Chief Judge of the Workers' Comp Court. I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of Susan Pepin Fay and Keith Cardoza. As a member of the court, I know each of the judicial candidates very well, as they've appeared before me numerous times. I can state without hesitation that they are extremely qualified. I would like to first speak on behalf of Sue Fay. I've known Sue for over 20 years since she first started practicing at Higgins, Cavanaugh, and Cooney. We've had many cases together with Sue representing employers and I representing employees. She was a formidable opponent, always well prepared and trustworthy. When I had a case with Sue, I know that I was in for a battle. Sue was and is a tireless worker who represents employers and insurance carriers with great passion. She devoted her entire legal career to workers' compensation law. She has appeared before me to litigate cases with the same energy and preparation. She carries herself with calmness and confidence. She has tried cases before me and has argued cases before the appellate division. She has done so with dignity and with great temperament. In my opinion, a workers' compensation judge must be hardworking, passionate, fair, impartial, and have a great temperament. Susan Pepin Fay meets and exceeds these credentials. Next, I would like to speak on behalf of Keith Cardoza. Like Sue, Keith also practices regularly before the court. He's a member of the Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Connecticut bars. He, too, primarily represents employers. He's appeared before me numerous times. Keith is hardworking, honest, and trustworthy. He represents employers with great passion. He's very well respected and has a tremendous demeanor, always calm, yet able to get his point across. Keith has also had the benefit of representing both employees and employers. This experience will allow him to appreciate and respect both sides of the argument. Keith has also been an active member of our Workers' Compensation Advisory Board, serving on many subcommittees, as Senator McKinney can attest, as well as the Workers' Compensation Bench Bar. Keith, like Susan, meets all of the credentials in what, in my opinion, a good workers' compensation judge should be. I'd be honored to have Sue and Keith serve on the bench with me. I urge this Honorable Senate Judiciary to move for advice and consent for both candidates, and I certainly will entertain any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Chief Ferreira? Senator Lombardi.
I always want to welcome my former law partner, the Chief Judge here. I want to tell you how proud I am of the judge that you've become, and more importantly, the Chief Judge that you've become. That court has become a model of excellence under your leadership. But that being said, the 10 years we spent together, I've never heard you say one good word about me the way you did about these two candidates.
People consider me a very smart person, Senator. Thank you for your kindness.
Thank
Any other
you.
questions?
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
The next witness we have signed up for Sue Pepin Fay is Douglas Emmanuel.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Good afternoon and welcome.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Senate President, Senators. I knew this was going to be an experience for me. I've never had the pleasure of doing this. But until you take that oath, I don't think you realize just how amazing this process is. So I thank you very much for having the opportunity to do it. I have goosebumps. And it's truly an honor to be before you, and I can't emphasize that enough. I have known Sue Fay for 25 years. We were both first-year associates at a 5-attorney law firm in Providence. We worked together side by side every day from 1994 to 1997, learning the ropes about this industry together, having to navigate the forest and the trees. And since that time, our friendship, our camaraderie has never waned. I've had, as a commercial litigator myself who doesn't go anywhere near the workers' compensation court, I have had the privilege of discussing workers' compensation law with Sue from time to time as they affect my clients. The thing that is remarkable to me about Sue is her ability to take a very complicated statutory structure and interpret, digest, predict, analyze, and perhaps most importantly to me, explain it in a way that professionals and laypersons can understand. And that amazing talent has no doubt led Sue to her success in her career and to be before you today. But as a judge, I think that talent will stand out even further. My clients whom Sue has counseled have all been unanimous in two things. She makes the situation very understandable for them, and she has correctly predicted the outcome of the proceedings because of her knowledge of the statutory provisions and the substance of the law. And that goes whether the outcome is a win, a loss, or one of those hybrid decisions that come from judges of every bench. And that's exactly what I think we should want our judges to do, and we should be demanding it of them. We should want them to know the law and to apply it on a very consistent basis, giving those who appear before them the opportunity to make new law when the circumstances warrant. To that end, I think Sue's intellect, temperament, and her ability to sift through extraneous matters to get to the heart of an issue are the characteristics that our judges should have. A willingness to listen, to digest, and then only after doing so to opine, and yes, to be willing to learn while doing so. That's what we should expect from our judges, and that's what I know Sue will bring to the bench. Sue's resume speaks for itself. Her service to her community and her profession has been outlined for you, and I presume that there have been letters of support echoing, I hope, what I've said today. We need more judges like Sue Fay, and heck, I'd satisfy if we get some more lawyers like Sue Fay. I hope you see fit to submit her name to the Senate so that its advice and consent can be provided, and I thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Mr. Emmanuel? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
These are the only two witnesses I had signed up on this nomination. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on Sue Pepin Fay before I call the candidate? Sue, come on up.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome.
Thank you. Madam Chairperson and distinguished members of the committee, my name is Susan Pepin Fay, and I'm grateful to be here today for consideration to serve as an associate judge of the Rhode Island Workers' Compensation Court. I am a lifelong Rhode Islander, and I've been practicing law for 25 years. For the past 22 years, I have practiced at the law firm of Higgins, Kavanaugh, and Cooney, doing exclusively workers' compensation law. During those 22 years, I've appeared daily, just about, at the Rhode Island Workers' Compensation Court as a trial attorney. I have also had significant appellate experience both at the Workers' Compensation Court and at the Rhode Island Supreme Court. I also speak regularly on workers' compensation issues and write regularly on it for various publications. Based on this experience, I know that I can hit the ground running and be of an assistance to the court at a time when they do need the help. If confirmed, I hope to bring to the court a sense of decorum and respect for the process, the staff, the attorneys, and especially the litigants. The Chief Judge Ferreira and former Chief Judge Healy have both worked tirelessly to make the Workers' Compensation Court a user-friendly court, and I plan to continue that tradition. For many Rhode Islanders, the Workers' Compensation Court may be their only contact with the Rhode Island judicial system, and I think it's important that everyone who appears before that court understands the process is explained to them, and that the law is applied consistently. I also think it's important that people who appear before that court and in the courtroom feel as if they've been treated with respect and fairly. And I would hope that anyone who leaves the courtroom feels as if they have been listened to, that their issue has been addressed fairly and diligently, that they've been treated with respect and consideration throughout the process, and that is what I would intend to bring to the courtroom. I thank you for your time and your consideration, and if I can answer any questions, I'd be happy to.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Ms. Fay? Senator McKinney.
Susan, thank you for coming here today. I think most of those 22 years, or much of that 22 years, I was also there on a daily basis at the Comp Court. For the past 10 years, I have not been, but I had more than ample opportunity to see you in action. The record's replete with evidence of your competence as an advocate, as a counselor. And I know from having talked to you personally about various issues, including the difficulties of parenting, particularly with special children, you bring to the table much more than many folks do. It's important. You talked about the fact that many people will get to the Comp Court. Perhaps it might be their only occasion of getting to any court in the state of Rhode Island or anywhere else. For them to have the opportunity to walk out, even if perhaps they might be on the losing end of the decision, and feel as though they got a fair hearing is incredibly important. And so I am very pleased that you're here. I'm pleased that the governor has made such a good choice. You have the ability to be fair. You have the ability to sit in the middle, to listen to both parties, and to make the right determination. As much as anything else, you have the right temperament. And I think that is probably the paramount concern. We want judges who are able to treat people who come before them the way they ought to be treated as Rhode Island citizens. And so I could not be more pleased than to see you here today, and wish you Godspeed on the rest of the journey.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Senator Lombardi.
Echoing on, I would expect Senator McKinney to obviously say nice things about defense counsel, as well as the next candidate that's coming up. But it's rather ironic that I, as an employees counsel, has nice things to say about you, but I can't resist but to say all wonderful things about you. Over those 25 years that you've been practicing there, you and I have been adversaries for all 25 of those years. And but you, needless to say, the chief hit it right on the head. You are a worthy adversary, always prepared, very bright, but a very calming and very fair person. And so that definition of judicial temperament fits you well. And Senator McKinney hit on the head that on top of it all, you're also a mom of a special needs child, and that's incredible. I often, when you talked about this process with me, I often called you the underdog, and that's what I liked so much about your candidacy. And so what I would say to you is that I would challenge anybody in this room or anybody in the state of Rhode Island to question the integrity of this process when they look at your appointment. This one is based purely on abilities, based purely on what you've done for the system. And again, it's the governor has done a wonderful job, not only adding another female to the bench, but adding a qualified and dignified female to the bench. And I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
As the next workers' comp judge.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for the candidate? With that, Leader McCaffrey moves that this committee recommends the advice and consent of Sue Pepin Fay, Vicing Associate Judge Hugo L. Ritchie Jr. to the Workers' Compensation Court. Seconded by Senator Archambault, Senator Metz, Senator Lombardi, Senator Coyne, Senator Raptakis, President Ruggiero, Whip Goodwin, Senator McKinney, Senator De La Cruz, Senator Oyer, Leader Algier. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, advice and consent is recommended. Congratulations.